The Ice Beer Project looks at Icehouse. Well, now, Icehouse was introduced by the Plank Road Brewery in 1993. It was the first ice beer sold in the United States, or I should say produced in the United States, because Molson Ice, the original one, may have been sold here before 93. And who, may you ask, is the Plank Road Brewery? Miller Brewing Company. They also made Icehouse Light for about a minute. They made Southpaw Light, which was hardly a light beer at 147 calories. That has been discontinued, and I never got to try it. Dang it. And the Plank Road Brewery produced Red Dog, which is still made today. Anyway, Icehouse, very interesting beer. I've been drinking it off and on since 1996. 5.5% alcohol, 100 and I think it's 57 calories. What does Beer Advocate say about Icehouse? They say it's poor, it's awful. Rate Beer says it's a 0 out of 100. So basically, the worst beer produced on planet Earth. Yet consumers like it because it is still fairly popular, not like it used to be. You don't see it as... I went to 2 stores today that didn't have it. The third store had the 18-ounce bottle. Walmart still has your 12 packs, and I believe sometimes you'll see 6 packs of the pints, but definitely 12-pack cans and bottles. When it first came out in 93, it was sold as a premium beer on the level of Miller Genuine Draft, things like that. And for whatever reason, they stopped advertising for it, and it's now considered a cheap beer. So the experts tell us it's horrible. The consumers tell us it's really good. What about the World Beer Cup and the Great American Beer Festival? Well, this beer, this atrocity, won a bronze medal at the 94 and the 2005 Great American Beer Festival, and at the 2012 World Beer Cup. It won a silver medal at the 2006 Great American Beer Festival, the 2002 World Beer Cup, and it has won gold medals at the 1996, 1998, 2006 World Beer Cup, and the 2003 and 2007 Great American Beer Festival. So we're talking about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 medals since it's been on the market for 21 years. So imagine that a beer, as horrendous as it is, winning so many medals. When they first came out with Icehouse, it had this design, the old Plank Road Brewhouse. And actually, if you go to the Miller Brewery in Milwaukee, they have a replica of the old brewhouse right on the main street where the brewery is. I believe that's 18th Street or whatever, State Street. I can't remember, but it's so close to Miller Park, and it's so easy to get to the brewery. We went there last year on a tour. So this is the original bottle with the old Icehouse blue cap. They decided a few years later to come out with this design, which is sort of like the motorcycle gang design, the tattoo design, the tough guy design. I don't think that went over too well. I never liked it. I thought it looked cheap, or just stupid maybe, but then you had that modified cap. I mean, it was okay, but it wasn't as stately as the original design. They must have felt the same way, because in 2010 they went back to more of the original design. It's sort of like a hybrid between the first and second design, but this is more of a stately design. It's got that pretty silver cap. It's just a good looking beer label. It says on the side here, ale. Well, it's not an ale. it's a lager. But they have to put that because in Texas it can't be above 5% alcohol and called beer. So they do an end run around the Texas authorities by calling it ale. So everybody knows that it's not an ale, except obviously in Texas you can just call it ale and get away with it. Anyway, this started a revolution in the ice beer world, or the beer world, the ice beer craze, which is not really a craze anymore, but it's still popular. It spawned other imitators like Pabst Ice. That didn't last. Schlitz Ice. That disappeared 4 years ago after about 15 years of failure. And Bud Ice, which actually did catch on and is still very popular today, much more popular than Icehouse, in fact. Here's the old Bud Ice glass bottle that's made to look like ice. Also 5.5% ABV. Let's crack it open. And there's old Milwaukee Ice, still around today. You might see it. It's so rare. Bush Ice, which is not sold around here, nor has it ever been. The very popular Natural Ice, which is still very common, although they don't sell bottles around here anymore. They only sell cans of Natural Ice, which is so irritating. Because I used to love me some 12-pack, 12-ounce bottles of Natural Ice. Anyway, here we go. Thin, little white head, no surprise. It's in a wide brim glass. It's not going to have a thick head. It would be in a narrower brim glass. I'm using a Miller glass. I don't have an Icehouse glass, but Miller, you know, because they own it. Beautiful golden appearance. Or straw, but more gold. Lots of bubble streams. The aroma of the 21-year-old Icehouse, not this bottle, but you know, the brand. The aroma is rich, full grain, and what grain? Barley malt, corn. It's just sweet and it's nice. It's a comfortable smelling beer. Let's go with the flavor. There's also the Schlitz malt liquor ice, which that'll bring you to one knee. So if you're going to drink that, you better be on your guard. Mickey's Ice Brewed Ale. Not sold here. Icehouse. Icehouse might be my favorite ice beer. I do maybe prefer Natural Ice, but Icehouse is so smooth, easygoing, pleasant. It's round, it's not too sweet, it's not too bitter. It has to be one of the friendliest ice beers around. Maybe one of the friendliest beers around, really. And we're talking about common beers. So why would it get such low ratings on Rate Beer? Well, because they hate anything that's made by a major company, okay? If they say, oh, made by Miller, they'll say, oh, I knew I didn't like it. I knew there was something wrong with it. But when you have an objective view of it, an objective evaluation without all the built-in bias, like a Great American Beer Festival and the World Beer Cup, oh, that has got so much carbonation. It is like, you got to sip it, because if you gulp it, that carbonation gets right there, and it's like, ugh. With any kind of carbonated drink, especially something that's super carbonated like this. But for those people, it's really good. Why do they like it? It's tasty, it's pleasant, it's smooth, it's ultra drinkable, it's Icehouse. If you can't deal with it, tough, you know. It's not Eyinger Celebrator. It's not Weihenstephaner. It's not, 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 Weihen Crystal Weiss beer, you know, but those are good. I love them. I drink them. I think they're great. But we're all not millionaires. And for a nice, standard American man's beer for a man, you know what I mean? You don't always have to be a ninny or a twit to drink beer. But for a regular old person that likes good beer, this is one to have. I have so much admiration for Icehouse. Why you think I got all the bottles? So anyway, I'd like to get some Icehouse apparel. I need to look on the Miller website. They have a really bountiful amount of apparel. Even weird things like Mickey's Ice Brewed Ale and Old English 800 apparel. So anyway, I appreciate you watching the Ice Beer Project. I would like your feedback, because the whole purpose of making the videos is to say, here's what I think about the beer, and what do you think? Let's talk about it, because no one in my immediate family or circle of friends has really any interest in beer, aside from drinking it. But to talk about it, they like, whatever, they don't care. But so I love it. I think it's a great beer. I will continue to drink as long as I can get it, so I can feel it coming, but it's not going to happen here. Thank you for watching this video production.